So, I've got a little story I want to tell you. Now that all the legal stuff is done with and I've had some time, I decided I wanted to share this with you. And this goes back a couple of years, almost a little over 3 years. In fact, I had a automobile accident. And at the time I had it, I didn't think it was bad. I was on my way to work. I was coming down I-77. If you're familiar with Charlotte, it's I'm South Charlotte near the Arrowwood exit. I was going to work and traffic was unusually heavy. So I had to stop. There was some cars stopping in front of me, and so I did. I was a mile from work and I was rear-ended. I had my seatbelt on and everything. I thought, okay, we pulled over to the side of the road. I got his info, he got mine. I took pictures and all that, and I felt okay. Of course, the energy from the accident and everything being real hyped and adrenaline going, and didn't think my car was hurt or bad or anything. But I went on to work and I got there and was concerned about the vehicle actually, and started calling my about getting the car fixed, the insurance and everything. I got his insurance information and all, and I got the worst headache that morning and would have them pretty much every day for going forward for a while. I had a concussion, and Monday, it was Friday when I had the accident. I waited till Monday. I went to the doctor. I got a lawyer. Had to have two MRIs, one in Raleigh, one in South Carolina, enhanced MRI. And I remember reading on Google that they have grades of concussions up to I think a grade 5. I had a between a 2 and a 3. I didn't black out during the accident or afterwards, but I had a lot of trouble sleeping, frequent headaches varying in intensity anywhere from a 2 to a 9, 10 being a migraine. Um, I was irritable. Uh, I had to apologize to people at work after I was through with this because I was really an ass. Had a hard time remembering things. Had lots of post-it notes and certain words I used at work I couldn't remember, or it would take me a few minutes and I would remember it. And I went to a chiropractor, a couple doctors, like I said, a couple of MRIs. The National Institute of Brain Injury got involved. Um, what finally I think helped me the most was the oxygen therapy. I had oxygen therapy for about 2 months, I think, once a week, sent a tent and get pure oxygen. And I really think that was the thing that did it the most. And I tell you, it really, for months, I was so cautious driving. Every time I had to put on the brakes, I would look behind me. And, and my car had actually bented the frame, which I did not think it was that bad, but it had bent the frame. So then I understood, oh, I now know why I've got this concussion. And I just wanted to let you guys know, guys and gals, folks, that concussions are really bad. I never felt nauseous. I never felt like I was, going to vomit or anything or pass out, but I just didn't feel right. And it's a very real thing. If you're ever in an accident and you think you get a headache or something after the accident, go see a doctor immediately. It's not some sort of make believe. I didn't break anything. Perfectly. I've never broken a bone in all my life, but that's the first and only concussion I ever had. I don't want it again. It was really bad, and it took 3 years to get through this case. Um, I'm glad it's over. I still think I'm not 100%. Maybe that's part of its age. Maybe it's still from the concussion. I don't know. There are times I do still have trouble with remembering certain words, like ballroom recently. uh, Talking about, you know, the ballroom at the White House. I couldn't remember the word. Uh, but the reason, and there's another reason why I bring this up. I'm going to be moving at the end of January. First place I'm going to will be Vietnam. I'll be there for a few months and I'll do a lot of videos. I'm going to put them up here. And I'm planning to go to China, Albania, England to visit my son and his family, and some other places in between. I hope you'll come along for the ride. But I tell you, as this gets closer and I'm going to buy my plane ticket to Vietnam one way tonight, it's a little scary. I felt this way a few years ago before COVID when I quit my job and moved out to California to work at a nonprofit. I was a little scared, leave my friends behind. Most of my family's gone. I do still have friends and that sort of thing. But it's a little scary. It's out of your comfort zone. Out of my comfort zone anyway. Never been to Vietnam. Been overseas, different places, but not to just show up with basically two suitcases and a backpack and say, okay, I'm here. It's always been just to visit or a vacation or something. I'm a little nervous even talking about it. But I think of that accident, and that could happen again anytime, or even worse. And then I realize, if I was to have a worse accident and like be laid up in a hospital, or paralyzed, or who knows what, I think I would regret not having done this, not having gone. In January, I went to Portugal for a couple of weeks. And I loved it. It's so great. I just love traveling. And infinite money, I'd travel infinitely. I say that a lot. I don't have infinite money. Matter of fact, I think it would be probably classified lower middle class here in the United States. But it's something that I feel. I just feel alive when I travel, and it's so exciting to me. And I hope I can bring that to you when I'm putting up my videos later this next year. Um, I have my grandparents to thank for that. I remember, boy, during the summer when I was a kid, we used to drive to Boone. I lived in Winston-Salem here in North Carolina. It was an hour and a half ride, but it just seemed like a totally different place. It was in the mountains and we were in the city, and it was just a great adventure every time we went. And I can thank my grandparents for that. So in the end, I guess what I want to say is I want to encourage you to have courage. Encourage you to have courage. I want you to have courage. I want you to do things that maybe are outside of your comfort zone. Do it. Why not? What's holding you back? If I wish I'd done this years ago. Um, but I'm of an age now where my son is settled. It's just me. Why not? If you're in that kind of situation, or if you're a lot younger and you have not had married or have a child yet, go do it. Take advantage of that. It's a lot easier to travel when you're younger than it is when you're older, believe me. I know. And so I encourage all of you to live your dream. Yeah. Live your dream, no matter what it may be. Travel, roller derby, skiing, uh, flying a plane, whatever. Live your dream. Do it. Okay. So I think I've taken up enough of your time. I thought this was going to take a lot longer, but if you have any questions, let me know. As of fortunately, just FYI, concussion, like I said, I'm 98% good, you know, thankfully. And it's a very serious thing. So you may not see the injury, but believe me, the person that's had a concussion, they know it. They know it. And when I was having all those headaches and stuff, I just felt so bad. Well, thank you for listening. If you've come this far, like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. And uh, subscribe because hey, I might have some good travel videos in the future. And I promise there won't be many of this sort of thing, but I don't know. I just felt like talking. And thanks for listening. You have a wonderful day.